What is going on, Manny? What do you got there?
I
Is
keep
that a little
finding this
metal
little.
heart?
No, this is the little ducks that our boy Devon
Oh yeah,
sends with his gift.
yeah,
So if you guys don't
yeah.
know, if you if you guys ever get a shirt from Devon, he mails it to you. Be careful because he packs them with all these like small
Mini
little
ducks.
ducks
That's
on
awesome.
his. And then I opened it up and I didn't know, and it's just all over the place. And with our floor,
It's fun.
it's all over the place.
It's fun.
So it's funny. I was just here waiting, for, getting ready for the show. And it's just like, what is this stuff? And yeah, little ducks. Anyways, shout outs to my boy Dion. What's up, Ryan?
What's going on, buddy? How are you?
Nothing much, man. Just another day. Living the dream, they say. It's,
Jesus.
it's hot here in California. Still haven't fixed my AC, so I got the fan blowing and just living it, man.
That's
Yeah.
it.
How are you?
Good. I took a week off. It was really nice actually. The phone was manageable. The guys did pretty well. It's kind of nice to be honest with you.
I was worried about you the other day. I heard there was like some crazy weather going down in
We had a lot
Maryland.
go on up here. There was some gnarly stuff going on, and we got some more hail because that's what we need is some more hail.
Dude, hell is like crazy around the world this year.
Yeah, this was tennis balls, so they can keep all of that over there. It's a little west from me. It kind of went west and north, so I'm good. I'll keep fixing the stuff we're fixing.
And I keep seeing like different posts about like text being needed.
Oh my
Like,
God, it's crazy.
I have not seen that before. Normally, it's just like it's kind of like a secret thing, right? Like, oh,
Yeah.
We need some text over here, shh, But now it's like, hey, if you know any texts were available, we need them. We could take them here.
I was talking to Nick Prang last night, and he's like, "Bro, you can't get any help." I'm like, "Yeah, it's everything right now. Like, this is the new way of life."
Yeah, shout outs to
No.
Dave O, by the way. Even him, he was posting it too that he has a used car lot deal going on, and a bunch of cars. You just need to text to just push the paint, and even that he was it's hard to get text.
Crazy.
So it's wild.
It's good. It's good though. I mean, I was talking to someone,
Hey, John, Josh, Louis, Jeff.
talking to
what's up,
Matt
guys?
Boyette, and he said that A1's having a record year. They're doing really well. They're busy. Tools. I'm like, well, they've had a lot of really good tools come out. And I'm going to bring this up again, and I'm telling you, definitely on my tools of the year. I know I talked about it last week. I've got to talk about it again.
Bro,
We had
I
a
need that.
$10,000 hail car, Manny, and me and Josh did 80% of the hail car with this tool.
Really?
80%. I fixed every dent on the roof in between the sunroof and the rail and the whole front with just this. Never
Wow.
pushed anything.
Really? What glue do you have on there now?
This is the blue Sergios.
Oh, I see.
And I've realized the least you put on there,
The better.
the better. So
Really?
I'm telling you right now, shout out to Boyette. I know the Metal Medic's coming out. I would love to compare them. Compare both of these. Something about this weight. The weight's just right. It's the freaking bomb, dude. I mean,
Yeah.
this thing, it's the
You know,
freaking bomb. And it's
I
not
might-
because I'm friends with Boyette and I like their tools. Bro, this thing is fucking badass. It is
Yeah.
badass. So
I might just have to order that today.
order it right now.
Every time I use cold glue, it's just like, oh, I wish I had it. I wish I
Bro,
had it,
it's
Shout out to
buy
Matt.
extra
What's up,
buy
Matt?
extra tips. Buy extra of these because this seems like the one that I use the most, and I just have red, green, and blue on it. It stays in my truck because if I have to go mobile, I want to be able to have it and use it.
Okay.
I found myself even on the bigger, sharper stuff. I've been using this because it's something with the Sergio's glue. It just reduces it quick, and then you can finish it off. But something about the weight of this, man.
Really? And I
It's-
believe you on that. Like, I'm big on like weights, even with like, blending hammers. There's a certain weight. It's like,
It's bro. It's after yesterday. I mean, I was already sold on it, because I'm a cold glue guy. I've been using cold glue since Sergio's original batch. But this thing
Yeah, just go hand in hand, huh?
kills it. So we got two other things I want to talk about real quick.
Okay.
Josh Dragos, his father passed away. I'm
Um,
sorry. Wanted to at
sorry
least
to hear
touch
that, man.
base on
Yeah.
that. And the other thing is we have one of our guys are down and out right now. Lee
Ron, what's up,
is
Ron?
down, so he's not doing great. So
Yeah.
hopefully, Mr. Lee, one of the actual kindest people in the world,
Oh yeah, super.
It was bad because when I was talking yesterday or couple days ago about it, my wife was is that Mr. Lee that like writes you the notes? Because he would send me like a card, handwritten card.
Yep.
So, everybody.
I remember the first time I met him at MTE. We're hanging out, and yeah, we're having dinner together. He just gives me Bill.
Yeah.
No,
The-
it's like it's this. He was just like, no, just handwritten thank you card, just friendship. It's like wow, who
Old
does
school,
that?
dude.
Who does that nowadays?
Old
Like
Yeah.
um,
So hopefully
yeah.
we'll get some updates here. Doesn't sound real good. So, but hey, it happens, man.
Hey Justin, hey Jeff, Adam, what's up, guys?
What's new with you?
Not much, man. Just working away. Back to school week. I don't know if your little one went back to school.
Two more weeks. We got 2 more weeks here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, little ones went back to school this week, and kind of like the whole town just goes weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of like things just got slowed this week, but it's because everyone's going back to school, and it's like I have like 3 cities here that it's just like they're all very close to one another, and all 3 of them went back to school this week, so things were kind of mellow. But yeah, no, everything's great, man. Just working away. We're 4 weeks away from Dent Trials in Vegas, PDR Expo.
I'm not going.
We knew that since like last year.
You know why? I'll be honest with you. I was talking to
He's scared of that Vegas heat.
I was talking to Kevin Bird the other day, and I go on a cruise, a Disney cruise in October, and I have to do some training at what's it called? God damn. At Expel in San Bernardino or whatever. Not San Bernardino. I'm having a hard time today. Look at that. Somewhere in Texas. San Antonio. San Antonio. So it's a week long. It was either the week I was gone or the week of Vegas, and shit talks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think Josh is still coming. So
Okay.
he was, because we were already ready to go. So he's like, I
it should
think
be
I'm
a
still
great-
going to go.
Should be a great event. I feel like as since last year, that was great, but something about Vegas just brings unique techs.
Yeah.
And the Dent Trials brings that too. Just really, how can I say? Just techs who are just in to compete and like just really show their skills.
Yeah.
I feel like Vegas is very competitive. So yeah, I'm excited.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah.
I mean, we're done on Friday, so maybe I'll be calling Manny saying, "Hey, can I come sleep in your bathtub and just fly from Texas to Vegas?"
There you
That
go.
could happen. That could happen.
Hey, you never know. But yeah, no, thank God everything's good, man.
That's good. That's good. I did make a business decision I guess it was last week, 2 weeks ago. We and I don't know if a lot of you guys have problems. The dent warranty companies, no more.
Really?
Cut them off completely.
Why's that?
Because we had a bout with it. It's called insurance is one of them. We did a car. We spoke to them. They approved the price. They approved everything. They said, reach out when it's finished with a picture that it's done. I did all that. Never got paid. So then I reached back out, and they won't pay me because I don't have the mileage of the vehicle.
Yeah, you do have to have a picture.
They never discussed that when they approved the payment. Why did you already approve the payment then?
Yeah, they require that when you send them the estimate.
So,
you know what's funny? It's funny that you have that story. But let me tell you my story. So what was it like last month? I had some issues with my phones. My phones weren't working,
No.
I
No. You what?
I did a dent, insurance job, and I did the job. I sent it away. I submitted the final invoice. They called me, and because my phones weren't working, they couldn't get a hold of me. They kept calling me, right? And they actually called me like a week after and say, "Hey, it's us. Like we want to pay you."
That's rare. That's rare.
So it's funny that you have that situation, and I had them like kept calling me because they wanted to pay me.
We had three in a row, three different companies that I'll work with periodically, and all three of them have been just a freaking nightmare. And I was like,
Really?
I'm done. Like, you know what? Find somebody else. You keep telling them like there was Nation Safe Drivers. I did their work for years and years, and they were great. Management change, people change, and now I keep telling them my starting rate is not $75. So let's just change the rate up front. I don't have to call you for extra money while the customer's here. So, it's just for me, we're so busy. I hate to say this and it sounds completely wrong, but I don't need the pain in the ass. You know what I mean?
That's crazy.
So
I feel that it's maybe like the insurance, like you just get some adjusters that are just like hard to deal with, and you get some that are just like, oh yeah.
I don't have that problem.
Because for some reason, like I've been like I have not had a problem for some reason the last maybe 5 jobs I've done.
But yeah, we decided to sorry. And they're still giving my number out. The customers are still reaching out. Like they'll send me an assignment and then the customer will call and I'm like, yeah, we no longer do the work. Well, you're the only one that they say that they'll do the work with. And I'm like, sorry, I if you pay up front and get reimbursed, I'm fine with that.
Oh wow.
So it's just too hard to chase the money. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I mean, for you have a business shop, so you don't have time for that, But
So besides that, everything's great. You got hail, you got work, everybody's busy.
yeah.
New hires tearing some stuff up. So, it's what we do, man. That's what we do.
Oh, that's great.
But I want to get our guest on. I'm excited
let's
about
do it.
him, and it's been nice to.
I gotta get my notepad. I know I'm in for learning some things today. So
it's been nice to watch him grow his business. So it's been pretty cool. You know what I mean? Just watching the little moves, and it's always fun to watch guys that, were doing their own thing and then just slowly grow into bigger things. So, but let's get him on.
Austin, what's up, Austin?
What's up, Mr. Dan?
Hey guys, how you doing?
How are you?
Doing well. Up here in sunny New York,
Yeah, and you're in upstate New York, right?
Yeah. I'm way over by Niagara Falls, like basically Canada. So
okay.
How's the weather down there right now?
Oh, good. We're sticking like 80s. It's the humidity that gets you. You cut it with a knife. Ryan knows Baltimore's not much different. So
Northeast is brutal.
Yeah.
Manny's like, it's so hot in here. It's 72 degrees. I'm sweating, but imagine 72 degrees with 100% humidity.
Yeah.
It's hot. I know about that.
There's only one word for it: moist.
So let's get into you a little bit. Let's, how long have you been pushing? Let's get into that whole thing.
I started dabbling around 2009, 2010, when I was a collision tech.
Okay.
I had a stroke. I was out of work for a couple years. Then I went back into the collision industry, and I always had a fascination with paintless dent repair. And I'm like, if I'm gonna make a change, right now's the time. And it wasn't a great business plan, but I knew if I made so much a week, just grinding away on some car lot, I could survive until I figured everything out and stuff like that. And so like 2011 was when I started working on getting my New York State repair facility number and set up a mobile service. And all that stuff, and did that for about 5 years. Um, Started a website right off the bat and everything like that because I knew I wanted to work more with individuals.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, there was already guys here doing car dealers and body shops and everybody knows that race to the bottom, who can do it for less or how long you've been doing it. And
Mhm.
so I wanted a totally different avenue, because you can pretty much write it how you want it.
Mhm.
And as far as the weather, like you only have so many months to work outside where
Yeah.
it's okay. I know John Krug's probably listening. He's in Albany. You
Yeah,
know, he'll show up and the cars are all iced up and everything. I'm like, it's 70 degrees here, man. And I'm sitting in my shop working along. My hardest part was getting the door open. And I did that for 5 years and scared to death. And I'm like, I think I'm going to do a shop. And everybody's like, you'll never do it. You're not going to be able to do it. And I'm like, we'll see, whatever, you know. And then once you start a shop, you're used to like running and going and do a car at a body shop or something like that. I found out real quick that no, you sit there and work on your business while there's nothing to go on, because if somebody shows up and you're not there, forget it. You
Yeah.
know. Oh yeah,
Now,
there's John.
where were you trained? How did all that go? Where did you end up doing?
So when I was in the collision industry, I bought a set of B&D tools off of, geez, I think it was eBay at the time,
Mhm.
and I talked to Mike out there and all that, and just got some tools, and then I started watching all of Mike's videos, his Mike Toledo's videos, and took a hood home, set it up on one of my body stands, you know, had the RV light, and I'm a line guy, so I had the lines on it, and
Another
I'm
line
just
guy.
down there. Yeah.
Sorry. I'm
Well,
sorry.
I I do lines and fog, but I'm really fast with the lines. Where with the fog, I'll be fixing a lot more than what I was to start the dent. A lot of guys can see better with fog to start the dent. I'm not that way. So, um, I also, I lost like my upper left quadrant in my vision when I had my stroke. I don't know if that has something to do with it or not, but maybe I see things differently or whatever. But yeah, I bought Mike's DVDs. There's maybe some people listening that don't know what a DVD is anymore, but
Mhm.
and I would just come home and watch them over and over again. And it was about 8 months, and I started, I could fix maybe a 1 inch size dent, um, in a flat panel, and you know, then I had no idea that nobody wanted those dents fixed at a dealership.
Yeah.
Um, so time went on, and I started doing some little stuff at the body shop and stuff while I was managing the shop. And I wasn't confident yet, so I ended up doing a 2 week stint out at was it Superior?
Okay. Yeah. Brian Jump.
Yes, I saw him a couple times, but we were just there, and it was basically 2 weeks, and I was just pushing dents on a hood like I was doing in my basement. But he had had a couple jobs come in, and just being out there and being able to do that, and then they had a couple things coming in, and like, man, you're ready to go. Go get yourself a couple dealers and stuff like that. And I knew that if I don't keep doing it all day every day, you're not going to get it. So it was like, okay, you got to make that leap, you know.
Mhm.
And so I came back. I gave my boss my 2 weeks notice, and the rest is just going and fixing stuff that other people didn't want to fix, and making that name for yourself, you know. And it worked out. I had a few dealers that I did, and then some body shops. Tried Target. I was doing using a company that was doing my website and some ads to get me some retail customers and stuff like that. And it was a slow process, but
I
it
mean, how
got to the
long was that gap? How long was the point of starting? You have your couple body shops, couple retail. How many years there were you trying to just figure it out?
like figuring out dents itself, or
Yeah.
yeah, um, it was probably a hard 2 year grind just on the car lots, fixing that stuff. You go to a body shop and you're fixing a little dent, hey, no problem. But you're trying, when you're out at the car lots, you're trying to correct what has already been instilled in their brain. It's funny because I was just talking to somebody about it the other day. You go to a dealer and they're like, "Oh man, you do $50 a panel like the other guy." It's like, yeah, but nobody ever says the other part. Sure, we'll do 50 a panel up to 4 inches, and I have to have 10 cars a week when I show up.
Mm.
So retail really got old, or wholesale really got old, because you're driving to this dealer, you're walking their lot, you got 10 cars, and they want 3 of them done.
Mm-hmm.
So say you made 150 or $275, and it's like, what am I supposed to do with that? So that's why I always just kind of pushed to the wholesale, or the man.
Retail.
You thought you were screwed up tonight. I'm pretty nuts too. But yeah, that's why I always kind of pushed to the retail, and basing everything off of what it would cost at a collision shop, rather than having to compete with what everybody else's prices were. It was kind of an open book, because otherwise it was chase someone down at the car dealer or something like that and see if they'd fix your dent for you. I put a lot of time in fixing those big dents and figuring them out, but I would say 2 years of a hard learning curve, like on the dealer lots. It'd be nothing for me to have, like, I don't know, say I had 10 cars between the two dealers that were next to each other. I'd be there for 2 days,
Yeah.
just plugging away,
Dan, I've met some body men that they're body techs out of shop and they want to become a PDR techs, but when they think about the financial side of it, that they're not going to be able to make that same amount of money, then they get
Oh, yeah.
scared. It's just like that
Oh,
sets
yeah.
them back. Did you go through that, or how did you prepare yourself to go
I
work around that?
I did. I'd kind of been through. Well, obviously, I was out for 2 years with a stroke, so like finances weren't huge there. Also, my wife has a good job in healthcare, so that allowed me to do that. I had already taken a leap before. I was an independent insurance appraiser.
Mm.
That was a pay cut there as well.
So yeah.
Working a ton of hours and driving all over the place for not a whole lot. But I ended up just going back to the collision industry. You have to be. I mean, I'm still on a very fixed income with where I'm at in my business right now. I'm not reaping any rewards from it other than extended work hours. But be prepared for that. And I actually have a painter here who had come to me and he wanted me to train him. And all he spoke about was, oh, those Hale guys, they make a lot of money. I'm going to, go to North Carolina and da, 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 da. I'm like, well, listen, dude, I've got an old limit dent light. I've got a double bend and a whale tail. This is all you need to figure out if you want to do this. And then I find out from a jobber that he spent like $5,000 on tools, and he's trying to do it the way that I did it. But he's like, my buddy just told me the other day you can get it like 70%. I'm like, well, 70% of what? 70% of the guy that's 70% of what the guy's doing on the car lot already, or where are we at? And he wants to come shadow me for a week or whatever. It's like, all I'm going to do is get a hood and I'm going to put dents in it and say, here, push the dents. It's just like with body work. I can sit there and show you how to put the glass, do your metal work, put the glass on and sand the glass. But until you do it over and over and over and over and create the result, you're not going to get it. And that's what they don't get. They think, I spend $5,000 or $20,000 in PDR training. I'm going to go back and hit a light switch and start pushing dents. And it's like, you're not going to be pushing any dents that any dealer wants to pay for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're going to have to grind or come to a shop like mine where we have work all day long and we can coach you through that stuff, but you're not going to make the $60 or $80 or $90,000 a year that you're making. That's your sacrifice,
But do you think it's more important to like make sure that you're financially stable to get through, or do you think you have to be more mental prepared for it?
Both.
Yeah, you've got to burn the ships. You know what I mean? There's no retreat. You got to be to do it the way I did it. Like I tell some people are like, you're nuts. You're never going to be able. It's always been that way. Okay, like you're a body tech. All right, well, I'm going to go do paintless dent repair. You're never going to make it. You're not going to make enough money doing that. Well, watch me. No, I'm not getting rich, but you just gave me even more fuel to the fire because you said I couldn't do it. And just like, oh, well, you're a route tech and you only want to do retail and you don't want to do wholesale. That won't work. I did it. You have to be very disciplined. Like you said, Ryan, you got to be disciplined and you got to be prepared to be disappointed. But when you get disappointed, it's nobody's fault but your own, because you need to learn from that, go back and try again. And if you keep trying to do the same things, you're not going to get anywhere. Like I said, I'm not getting rich by any means. I've put everything back into the business. I'm very lucky with my wife with a good job and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
And then just purchased the Restore Effects license too. So now technically I have like 2 businesses in my new shop, and I'm trying to build that one as well. But it's the same thing. You're building a whole nother business again.
Yeah.
With paint protection film, we were talking, Ryan, you have to create, like, I'm lucky because of my reputation with paintless dent repair in the area and my reviews and everything. I'm able to piggyback it off of that and sell it to my retail customers.
Yes.
What is hard for me is a lot of guys with Restore Effects are going to the dealers. I burned all those boats.
Shit.
8 years ago, I burned all those boats when I went to a fixed location. Like, no, I won't come do a $100 door ding, because I had done that and I was leaving to go do it. And a $500 Mercedes job pulled in that I caught as he was pulling in. I went and I wrote the estimate. I'm like, 10 minutes later, he could have been down to the road with the next guy.
Yep.
So if you're going to open a shop, you need to just be there.
Yeah.
Or have someone there. Because even if you say, oh, well, I'm at the shop on Thursdays. Well, when that customer shows up on Thursday or on another day and you're not there and they realize that, you just wasted their time.
They're not coming back.
No, they're going to make a phone call.
Yeah.
All you're doing is working on your reputation, that they will come back. But
I think
that was a learning curve.
I think what you just said, and that's where I think a lot of the dent guys that have shops are doing, is they're using the reputation and their already clientele base coming into the business. When they add the services, it's a lot easier to sell them because you already have trust. You don't have to get the trust from the customer. They already know you're the guy.
Yep.
They've looked at your reviews, even if it's somebody that you haven't done work with. They already trust you because they're already there.
Right.
So
think
it's a
that's
lot
kind of
easier.
like that. I think that's like what happened to you. That's why your shop blew up because
Yeah.
you were already the guy, mobile.
Hmm.
When you opened up the shop, it was just like, whew.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, when you had your shop, everybody always came in and were like, "Well, do you do anything else?"
It's the craziest
Yeah.
shit
Do you,
ever.
no, we just do paintless dent repair. Leave me alone. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like,
I'm in that. I'm in
I don't
that
have time to
place right
think. Leave me
now.
alone. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And then when you start adding services, it's like, oh, well, okay, now we need to staff it and make it work because you find out really quickly that you can't do it all anymore. And you know you need to start delegating and putting people around you that you can trust.
And that gets
Um,
hard too. You look at this, I look at
yeah.
like in my shop situation, I'm sure you feel the same way. A lot of times the dent repair end of the business covers the bills, right?
Hmm.
We're doing enough dent repair to cover the bills, but you start adding other services, keep adding people. It
Oh yeah.
gets to a point to when you're like, I don't know if dent's actually going to cover the bills,
Hmm.
so that's where your scary part is when you're
Yeah.
growing your business and you're like, oh man, this
Oh
is
yeah.
where you get uneasy. You know what I mean? When you're like,
Oh yeah.
okay, but
Yeah, because my like RestoreFX actually has a like a projection sheet where if you do so many cars a week and you pay this tech this much, materials are going to cost this much, and this is and take your rent out of it and everything, and this is what you have left in the end. So you can sit there and play with that
you're
and see where
$28.
you're negative $28. Um, but that is what helped me make this last move into the huge shop and stuff like that is I've got 6,500 square feet, 5,000 square feet of shop space. It's 2,500 square foot of dent shop, 2,500 square foot of restore effects. If both of them are producing, it's very doable.
Mhm.
Just like you, Ryan, if you have dents and you got PPF, you have more income coming in for that business.
Mhm.
Once you get past the okay, well I'm doing dent repair and I'm paying my insurance, I'm paying my rent, I'm paying this, I'm paying that, you know. We actually I just went through I have my I don't know if they have it in Maryland or not, but it's not a dealer plate but a transporter plate.
Oh yeah.
Technically the same thing, but I can go to a dealer, pick up a car and drive it back. I
Mhm.
don't need their plate. I have my own now.
Mhm.
But you have to have so much garage keepers, and you got hail guys screaming because they got to pay $1,000 for coverage to go push hail. I think my insurance is just under $5,000 right now. But you're covered up to 600,000 in vehicles in the shop at night if it burns down.
Yeah.
You got Marine Midland to replace every single tool that you have. Well, maybe not all of them. We can do away with some of them, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, um, and you have lines of credit so you can pay your technicians when you have a slow month. You can just draw from it, and there's a lot of expenses going on there that with both of them running, they can help carry one another.
Now,
Um,
when you were just dents,
yeah.
when was it at that point to where you were like, I'm going to add a service? Like, like Manny's there. He's been doing the dent repair. He's got an
Mhm.
employee. What made you sit back and say, okay, let me add something to try to go another route? What was the determining factor there?
The fact that I did not want to push dents the rest of my life. And you and I both know it takes a very skilled person to do dent removal.
Mhm.
Um, to a high level, to a retail level. It either takes lots of years. I mean, we're fixing some pretty big stuff, um, and I just getting burned out with working and running the front end, and I know I couldn't just run the front end and like train somebody to do dents or whatever. Um, and Josh is actually in the comments here. I see him. we started talking about paint protection film. Matter of fact, it was right when Gene was talking to you about it. And he knew somebody with a plotter that was selling it. And I ran out and I bought this plotter, and we're talking to Lumar and everything, going through all that process. And I'm like looking for like other Lumar places in the area, and it's like, well, these guys use Lumar, these guys use Lumar, and then I mean, it's all Eastman Kodak across the board. Like they all own them and stuff. But I was like, for me in the area, like everybody and their brother is either doing ceramic or PPF. It's kind of the same thing as working paintless dent removal at car dealers. Like anybody and their brother's doing it. And I'm like,
who's the cheapest guy?
Yeah. It's it's a race to the cheapest price. Because you're only going to have a few people who are going to look at it and says, all right, well, who does the best job? Who's going to, I don't have to go back 4 times because the edges are peeling, and stuff like that, because putting film on isn't an easy task. You need to be skilled at that as well. It's not an easily replaceable technician.
Yeah.
So when I went to MTE Vegas, I stopped at their Restore Effects Center and stuff. And I was 2 years back and forth talking with the guys and stuff like that. Being an ex-body guy, I'm like, no freaking way. You are not applying this by hand and making it look right. And here we are, and, I've been there until 6 a.m. getting a car done, just an all-nighter because it had to get done and the bills have to get paid or whatever. And don't even get me stuck on like trying to hire people that, I don't even want to go there.
That's a whole nother episode.
That's a whole nother episode. And, but as far as the dents, what's allowed me to step away from that sound, I think he's watching tonight too. A gentleman named Yaroslav Zapatochny. He emailed me at one point and he's like, hey, I just moved to Rochester and I did paintless dent repair in the Czech Republic and I'm looking for a job. And I was like, yeah, right. No way. Somebody's screwing with me. A few days later, he showed up at my shop. I'm like, holy cow. So he came in, we talked, and I'm like, come in Saturday, bring some tools. I just, see it. Easiest interview you could ever do, right? The guy seems like a great guy. He showed up. He sent you an email, number one. Then he shows up and he wants a job at your place. And then, okay, well, bring your tools. Let's see if you can fix a dent. So he comes in and he fixes some dents. And okay, when do you want to start? I mean,
yeah,
very easy, right? Just show me what you can do. And he's been great. He's a great asset. He's self-taught, I believe, himself. But he's been doing good. He's been doing smashes, every now and then we get into a hard one where, we're kind of both working on it and looking at it. Hey, why don't you do this or that? Or, but I think 5 years he's been pushing. I think for a 5-year tech, he's crushing it.
Yeah.
And I know he hates some of the work that we do, but
shit.
You know what? He's busy. He's been busy all year long and making good money and everything and guaranteed pay. He has a guarantee, and all of that so that him and his family can be paid. A lot of people, they want employees, right? Oh, well, I'll just 1099 you. It's like, okay, yeah. And if I don't have work, you don't have any work. What kind of job is that?
Yeah.
He's on payroll. He gets direct deposit. He's paid bi-weekly, and he has a guarantee. He can put food in his family's mouth, and if he needs anything, he knows he can come talk to me, and we can work through it, And I feel a lot of guys in this industry, they want to hire somebody, but they don't want to put the big boy pants on. Like, can you offer them insurance? Are you giving them a paycheck, or are you just paying them cash under the table?
Yeah.
You know, are they a W-2 employee where they can actually go buy a house someday? Or, you know, or do they have to just pay cash? Is he lines or fogs? I'm lines all the way, man. Atlantic Paintless Dent Repair.
Gosh.
How, Dan, I feel like you're speaking to me. I mean, you are, right? But like, because I have a similar situation. Like, you know, I have a tech who just same thing. He used to push back home. He moved out here with his family. He showed up one day. He's like, hey, I'm looking for
That's
work.
awesome.
You trying to grow? It's like, yeah, let's go. I said, same thing. Come in on a Saturday, spend a few hours with me. He came in right away. I was busy. He jumped on helping me out with something. And it was just like, before I knew it, he was just helping me out, like getting it done, you know? But at what point, you know long-term that you know, you don't want to push dents, you know, all the time. But at what point, because, you know, you created the shop, this business, because you put in the work, and everyone's coming to you because you are the man. At what point do you like not at what point do you like what I'm like you have to kind of pass the torch, right? Let him like do his thing now. But like, how do you like get past that? Because I kind of find myself, you know, still wanting to be, you know, like all hands on everything. And I understand that I'm not going to always be, you know, have to do that, right? But it's just like, how do you get past that to where you can say, okay, now I have someone who does dance. Now I'm going to move on and focus on this and do other stuff.
It sounds like you need to add services or something so that you can go play in that field. Well, he has to fix dents because you don't have time to fix dents because you're doing this over here. You know, something like that. But yeah, I mean, I have no problem. Like, oh, Dan, you did an awesome job. I go, no, not me. Yaroslav did all that. He's, you know, and oh, can I go give him a tip? You know, it happened today, and it's like he did it. I mean, he's on one of the windows in the shop, you know, that we had the perforated film put up on the windows and stuff like that. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to put that torch down, and you know, I'll walk over and I'll look or whatever, you know, and hey, maybe you want, you know, but you have to be able to delegate, you know, because once you let them start doing that, you're gonna free up to do other things where you can grow, you know.
I think you get to a point to where you're building tech trust. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've had it before to send Josh to one of my body shops, and then I see the tech. It was funny because it was earlier this week, and the body guy came in just to bullshit for a couple minutes before he was heading home, and he's like, "Where's the glue guy?" I'm like, "What do you mean? Who the hell's the glue guy?" Like, "Where's the glue guy?" Because Josh is unbelievable with glue, unbelievable. And I'm like, "Oh, Josh," he's like, "Bro, that dude is amazing with glue. I can't believe he got what he got." And I was like, "I told you, you know, it's that building trust of your techs to where if I'm not there for a week, I'm not worried that Josh is doing a bad job. Right. I know he's doing the best that he can do." And I think when you get to that point of you need to trust him at that point. You know what I mean? It's not just letting the customer trust them. The customer trusts you. That's why they brought you the car.
Yeah.
But you need to build that confidence and trust with your employee, you know, with your guy.
That's like I have Jeff, he's working on getting off of a chase and hail. But when I first started, you know, I would go to St. Louis and do hail with him. And like, that's how I met Gene Fetty. Is Jeff and I were down at MTE. He's like, "Oh, have you ever met Gene?" You know? And it's really cool because God, he's probably gonna hate me, but I think he's like 63 or whatever.
What's up, Don?
And I have no problem. Like, he's got a key to the shop. Hey man, can you cover for me? We're going camping and I'm gonna leave early Friday or whatever. And he's there, and between him and Yaroslav, they both have keys to the shop, they both have the alarm. And you have to have people that are willing to help you, like those guys. So that, I believe Don says, it's very hard to see what's in the bottle if you're looking from the inside or something like that. It's one of Don Kavanaugh's sayings.
He'll
Come on,
post it here, I'm
Don,
sure.
let us know
Yeah.
what it is, Don.
Yeah, but instead of working in the business, work on the business.
It's a lot
So
harder
you can-
than it sounds, though.
It's horrible. It is very hard to do because you're always in the business. You're filling that void. And I keep telling people are like, "Oh, this is a great business." I'm like, "Yeah, someday I won't be an employee and I'll be a business owner, but the day hasn't reached yet." Like, I just want to get fired is all I'm looking for. Because at that point I feel I've become a business owner. When you don't have to be one of the employees anymore, you can kind of take care of all the admin up in the front, check in with everybody. But I think too many people start what they call a business, and then all of a sudden it's, oh, well, I'm working 2 days a week and I'm sitting at home and I got these other two guys out there. Well, guess what? That's how accounts get stolen. Because they're like, well, he ain't doing shit. I'm taking his account, and you have to be working just as hard as the guys that are working for you, so that they understand what's going on.
Oh, there it is. Don said it's hard to read the label if you're stuck inside the bottle.
That's a good one.
It is good.
I'm
right?
stealing that, Don. I'm sorry.
Drop the mic.
Stealing it.
Yeah, Don won't care. He's a nice guy.
So
how about that shop he's got going on?
I know. It's
Beautiful.
looking good.
Love the mezzanine and the.
I felt bad for him because
Talk about living the dream.
He's delayed, and then he's getting hammered with hail, and the whole time I'm sitting there watching this video, and I'm like, that poor bastard's gonna be out front in fucking tents fixing hail because his shop's not open yet. And I was like, oh my god,
he's out there spinning a sign. Listen, I don't even want to talk about hail because we have not had a catastrophic event here like ever since I started my business. Like, I've worked one for somebody that was probably 40 minutes from here, and like one of my competitors, his backyard got hammered last year with hail. But as far as like where I'm at, never. And it's a different world just doing retail dents and like door dings and minor collision repair and stuff like that, opposed to, oh shit, you know what, we're still working on hail cars from last July. It's like, oh, that's rough. You know what I mean? I got one that came in from Missouri, and oh wait, these people were in Texas. It's like onesie twosie here or there, but to have a catastrophic storm, I can't wait. I don't even want to push. I want the storm.
Yeah.
To see if everything you've put into the business is what it is. Like, people can find you on the internet. People come to you because they know that you'll fix their damage, and stuff like that. So it'd be nice. It could pay some bills off.
Looking back at have you started your business to where you're at now, do you ever look back and wish you would have done things faster, like grow your shop with all these services? Or do you think that the same way when you start pushing PDR, how you have to have that process, do you think it's the same way growing your business to have all these multiple services that you have to spend the time?
I think I know what you're asking. I like the growth of the Paintless Dent Repair, the speed that went through, because it let me grow my reputation.
Mm.
As far as a brick and mortar high level technician in the area. And I think that's helped the new business venture with the other things. Um, I don't know if I could have grown it faster.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
maybe if I did have some of those hailstorms or something like that, I could make some larger, faster moves and things like that. Like a
Yeah.
lot of people are like, well, why don't you buy a building? Well, because I can't afford a building in the visibility that I have.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like the last thing I need is revamping a building or worrying about this, that, or the other. I just pay my rent. My rent is my rent every month. Uh, the HVAC goes in the office. Hey, I got a problem over here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to me, I would love to have a shop of my own. My goal is to, like, say, have a building like I have where you have tenants and
Yeah.
then your business, and then maybe sell your business and then they're renting from you, yada, yada, yada down the road. But that's nowhere near the future, you know. Um, I could buy a shop like in the city, but nobody's going to want to go there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Or renovations or things like that. Um, but I was against adding services for a while.
Really.
I kind of always, because it was just me for the most part. I was always very like, if I can't make it just doing paintless dent repair at a high level, I'm doing something wrong. You know, because I didn't have another paintless dent repair guy.
Mm.
Um, and you know, being in a 2,000 square foot building, like I know this all works, but to try to make it, because it was full with dent repair. So how am I going to cram another service in here? So that
Mm.
means I need to look for another place to rent, and that fear of bringing on a legit W-2 employee for that is, you know, and I don't piggyback off of places either, like body shops and stuff like that. If they have an insurance claim, I tell them you can mark it up to the insurance company. And then if you sell a paintless dent repair, I will discount it to 25%, so it's my same price, and you can make the difference. If you want to go higher than my price, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I know that my price isn't lower at some body shop than it is at my shop. Um, so you know, I tell everybody, you make money doing what you do, I make money doing what I do. So let's just stay in our own pockets.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm sending you a car that needs a quarter and you're making 10 grand off it, and you send me a $600 dent, who made out? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So I've always been real adamant about that.
Yeah. Same
Um,
here.
you know, it's like, no, I'm not giving, because you referred my name. Okay.
Yeah.
And
Tell them you're going to paint it for this much, and then they'll just come to me anyway.
mhm.
You know, so
I
it's
think I think with Manny's question, which by the way, you're having some killer questions tonight, Manny. Really good stuff.
I feel like this was all meant to be there.
Really good stuff. But I
Listening
think
to your story today.
I,
Thank you.
I think with Dan, you know, I was in the same spot with Dan. You know, you sit back, you're in your thing, you're making money, you're doing okay.
Mhm.
Why do I need something else? But you know, you get to that point to where, in my instance, in my brain for RPS was have multiple techs, 3 or 4 techs on the road. We'll be rocking. It was always just dents, 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 dents. But pandemic happens, and you sit back and you're like, I'm never gonna find enough techs to fill that void of what I really wanted. And these people are coming into the shop asking if we do other things, and I was like, okay, well, let's add this, and then
Yeah.
let's add this, and let's add this, and now we're in the spaghetti soup we're in now. So, you know,
Yeah. I need
but-
more text.
yeah, I mean, it's. I think you get to a point, kind of like where Manny is right now. You know,
Mhm.
Manny and I have talked about Paintless or PPF a couple times, and you get to a point to when you're like, okay, you look at your numbers and you know, okay, just a sample number, you can only do 250K a year with these two hands, right? How can we get to the next level? Add another
Right.
tech. Okay, well, if you find one, okay, it's going to take way too long to train somebody from go at the point of any of our businesses of where we are. It's just not beneficial.
Right.
You got to add a service. It's the only way you can do it. So, you know, I think you get to that
a
point.
scalable service.
Yeah, 100%.
You know. Yeah.
100%.
And-
And cost effective. You know, you
Right.
go out and start doing wheels, but it's going to cost you 150K off the get.
Sure.
So,
Yeah. And you know, what's funny to me is that, like, you know, we are the man in town that everyone loves. They refer us to everyone, the whole family, friends, and everything. But then when they ask us if we do something else, like in my position right now, it's just like, if they ask us, like, no, I just do dents, you know, but it's just like, I don't.
That was me. Yeah.
I don't see the fact that they're actually asking for help in all these other areas, but because, you know, I'm kind of busy already with dents, I'm like, I don't have time with it, but it's just like, I don't hear it. They're asking for help. And it's just like, why
It'll click.
wouldn't I help
It'll
them,
click.
you know? But it's because I think that, and I always say this, right? Like, the minute you're comfortable, is just like, you should be scared. You know, you should never be comfortable in your life. And I think that that's exactly where I'm at, you know, that I'm so comfortable in just knowing that my business is good with just doing dents,
it's like this.
tunnel vision, right? That it's just like, but it's just like, man, I think I prayed for those, you know, for those situations that I could grow this business where I can provide multiple services and I can have multiple, like, technicians, and I have great technicians, and it's just like, it's there, but it's just like, you got to push the limits, you know, like you just got to push. And it's just like, and the reason why I was asking about timing, because I'm at a great location, right? And if as soon as one other spot opens, that would just add on, and it was just like, my business could just grow here. But like, you got to be patient too, right? Because at the same time, I'm like, well, I could just go somewhere else and do this somewhere, but it's just like, no, you got to be patient. You got to just keep pushing, you know, and just like leave that fear away and just trust that, you know, that it will come together, you know. But you, like you were saying earlier, you have to also be willing to pass on that torch.
Yeah.
You know, and move on to do something else.
I think it'll happen when it's supposed to happen. You know, you look at things like you asked him if he feels like he should have started earlier, but either personality or you know, professionally, he may not have had all the keys
Thanks, Don.
to make it work. You know what I mean? You learn one thing. You know, the pandemic, we all learned something about the pandemic. We all learned, okay, what do we need to do to make it work still? You know, so I think when you get in business and you're working, you get to this point to where, just like you said, you're comfortable, you got blinders on, then you kind of start venturing out a little bit, trying to figure out what else you want to do, and it just clicks. And then, okay, well, what's the next thing we can do? You know, click. And then, you know, but I think you get to a point in your career that you don't have all the keys. You know, I'm a late bloomer, is what I say to everybody. I'm a late bloomer, everything. You know, I was.
That's what I tell my wife.
Older when I married my wife. I was older when I started RPS. It's just in my personality, you know. So I think it's with anybody that it just takes time for everybody to learn those skills to get to that point of time to go. You know, I had a friend of mine that owned a business, and all he ever said, he kept telling me, you need to hire, keep hiring. I'm like, fuck you. I'm not going to keep just hiring anybody. No way. And he's like, keep hiring. He He's like, then you can weed out the ones you don't want. And I'm like, whatever. And now I'm at that point of keep hiring. My wife's like, what are you doing? Just keep hiring. There's not shit out there for people right now. We'll pick the good ones. You know what I mean? So, and that was 6 years ago. He was like, hire. And I'm like, no way. And he's like, look at you now. And I'm like, yeah, shut your mouth. I'm a late bloomer. It's not my fault.
Well, and I think if you are going to hire, like techs are going to be the best that you can hire because they're actually producing more revenue for the company.
Yeah.
Like me having the latest office staff, like it was a heavy ticket, but we weren't producing, like closing a lot. And with her gone and even with another technician, it really helps the revenue stream coming through the shop because I'm like Ryan, I'm able to get back up in the office. I can sell it and close it because I know it. It's in my DNA.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to try to teach somebody that is very hard. You know, dealing with the insurance companies, you know, they don't know. You know, let me have Dan call you back. Where if you can actually have people doing the work, you can actually get them better work because you're up front doing it. Opposed to only doing the stuff that, you know, maybe the people want it done, but they don't really, but you're kind of giving them a break to get it in the shop because you need work, you know. You kind of want everybody on point in all the positions that they're doing. With us as entrepreneurs, if we're out in the shop, we're producing dents, but the office staff is slacking at that point. You know, like we can make a lot of money doing dents, but can we make the business a lot more money if we're in the front and we have somebody in the back doing only concentrating on dents or only concentrating on PPF install, you know, because I do not wish the amount of stress that I have lately on anybody for the past year, like unbelievable. But for those people to come in and just put the blinders on and do that job, and this is what I have to do for the day. Okay, I can handle that, you know. And if you get enough people that can handle that, you can go up front and you can bring in the best work for them to make their lives even easier and make them make more money. Which if they're making more money, you're making more money, and the business, everyone what's Paul Corden say? With the rising tide, all ships.
Oh yeah.
Like, I only know parts of these, but
now are you're in Gene Fetty's 20 group, right?
I'm not in this one.
Okay. How was that? Did that help you kind of?
It did. There's a lot of different points of view and everything in there. And stuff like that, which is good. People that you can bounce ideas off of and things like that. Eye openers, you know. There was a lot of talk about new services, adding services, or a lot of, hey, I'm thinking about going into a shop. You know, what do you think about this, or what do you think? Or I'm thinking about bringing on employees, or like when I went in, I knew I had to hire somebody.
Yeah,
it was just hiring somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you know what you have to do, but them all riding you every freaking week, like, hey, did you hire anybody yet? You got to add it, you know. Finally, I pulled the trigger, and I hired Josh for the front end, and that helped me out, and that kind of broke the seal, right? Like, okay, I've had a W-2 employee, I can do this. Like, I can pay someone to sit up front and then push the dents, and this will work. I can afford that. So let's go to the next step, you know. And I had some eye-opening experiences in there. I think filling the 20 groups and stuff like that is very important with high level entrepreneurs that are like at your same level. Like they're in a shop and they're talking about this and that and other things, because then everybody has a different point of view. Like, well, I did this way and that worked for me. Oh, I never thought of it like that, So it's pretty cool. I met a lot of cool people in there. But yeah, I'm not doing that this year. I didn't go to MTE. I did the Matt Moore thing. I remember Matt Moore saying when he opened his shop, and Ryan's out.
Yeah.
When Matt Moore opened his shop, he heard the guys in the back hitting the ping pong ball back and forth and stuff like that, and he's like puking, like, what am I gonna do? And I had just moved into my new shop and stuff, and I'm like, I just financially, it doesn't make sense to go to MTE this year. I'd gone for I think 10 or 11 years in a row, and it's like I can't do it. It's
Yeah, you could take some time off, and
oh yeah,
you're really you won't miss on a lot. It's a great time.
Oh yeah, it's definitely.
I have one more question
everything.
for you, Dan. And by the way, everyone who's watching, if you guys have questions, put them in the comments, because I'm going to keep asking questions for myself. But Dan, and for you too, Ryan, you bring in a new tech, and he's helping you push, everything, and he's a good tech. But what do you do when the clients, pull up, you give them an estimate, and then you want to get that job to your other tech, and they say, well, I want you to fix it.
No, not my monkey, not my circus, but not my time in the ring. Especially with, no's a complete sentence. I mean, that's why I hired you, was to push dents, and here is the dent. I have to go do this. I have to go get you more dents to push.
No, I think he's talking about the customer saying he wants you to fix it.
Oh,
right, Manny?
Yeah.
Right. Like,
Yeah, I've had that a couple times this week, and I don't even have the conversation with them.
No, me neither.
Because they're happy with it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to oversee it, and I'm going to look at it. I have thought about like some of these really big jobs that we're doing. Like, okay, well, you want me to push it? That's fine. It's another 50% on top.
Or I even get to the point where I kind of like, they'll say that, and I'll be like, they'll be like, man, you did a great job. I'm like, no, Josh did it.
That's what I do all the time.
And what that's doing is building your confidence with the customer, with your employee.
Yes.
And they're like, oh man, Ryan was good, but his new guy, Josh, just killed it. So I think that.
What was I thinking? Ryan sucks. This new guy's awesome.
But like, let's say that, they show up to RPS, it's Ryan's shop. Hey, I'm here to see if you could fix a dent. They told me you're the best. And then, aren't you supposed to tell them that it's another tech that's going to get it done? Or is you just take it in as like, oh yeah, we'll take care of it in the shop?
Nope.
Because I kind of.
And what I tell them is if I don't trust my employee to fix that dent, or think that he could fix that dent like me, he won't be working here. I don't need someone to babysit.
Say less.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not like the collision shop where you got A, B, and C techs and they're doing all the same job. Like, this is an art. If you've taken the steps and you've learned paintless dent repair and you're good, you're working for me because you are good. Yeah. And that's what I tell him. I go, well, if he wasn't any good, he wouldn't be working here. And
it's your name. That's,
and I look at it. You're only as good as the last job you put out.
Yeah.
And sometimes I do get a little stressed. I'm like, oh, hey, what are we gonna do about that or whatever? But we get it fixed. You know, you don't have to put your hands on it. You need to delegate them to do it. And then if you're concerned about it because, oh well, you know, it's my name. Well, it's your name on the building. We're building a business. We're not building a job. Like,
Exactly.
if you're building a business, you have to be able to delegate stuff and trust people that are working for you to do the job. And you can go over and check on it, you know, and oh, yeah, it's looking good. You know, that looks a little bit like you're making sausage still, but I think that will look like a link when you're done, I'm sure.
And
You know what I mean?
you know what
So
I've enjoyed with having employees with a dent guy, you know, and I'm sure you both have gone through this, is kind of not really tag teaming dents, but kind of a different perspective on some of these really nasty dents. You know, Josh will come over, he'll be gone mobile, and he'll come in the shop and he's like, what do you think? And he's like, man, that looks really good. And he's like, still kind of seeing like a little bit of something from this angle,
Yeah.
which I love it. I
Yeah.
absolutely
Yep.
love it. 24 years, I'm not perfect by any means. And some of the shit we're fixing, you need that, you know? Or he's like,
Well,
what do you think about
yeah.
today he was like, we had a door off Santa Cruz and it was wrapped around the brace. And he's like, what if I cut this glue? I'm like, don't cut the glue yet. Whale tail it, it'll keep the strength. And he's like, I didn't think about that. So I love that. That's one thing I really love.
It's very cool. Yeah.
Is working with a tech that has an idea, does a really good job, and you both can work together on the same job.
Yep.
And it's not like, don't pick my shit apart. What are you talking about? Yeah, I sand everything. It's okay.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
So where do you see yourself in the next 5 years to come then?
Hopefully making it through my lease.
Back in a truck, pushing dents by himself.
Yeah. Yeah. Sitting in a car lot with a dent repair sign. Slamming the truck of my BMW 3 Series.
Oh, shit.
So 5 years from now, oof, I'll be 51. So yeah, I definitely want to be the face of the business, and then also able to help my technicians. You know, like I'm very hands-on. I don't have a problem staying late and working or coming in on the weekend finishing something up or whatever. My goal is to become more of the business owner and be able to choose to do that more often. You know, not just walk away and collect the money coming in, but start showing more in the black. Having more money left over at the end of the month, you know, and I've shown growth every year, but I want to get to that point where I can start taking more of a salary from it, or having some nice things, or, you know, I drive a 2016 Tundra with 95,000 miles on it, you know. I would like something a little bougie, maybe my own, you know. These people come in and you have like a GTS 3 or an old Torino, or
like, what do you drive?
or a Cayman, or they're like, oh, is that yours?
Oh my
God, I wish.
It's the worst shit ever.
You see that blue piece of shit in the parking lot? That's what I drive, baby. You know? Yeah. No, I haven't washed it for over 3 months.
Oh shit!
You know, it would be nice to start, you know, seeing some more of that and stuff. And like, my 401k is my business.
Yeah.
And I've always said, I can control my business. I can't control the market. So I put everything back into my business to grow it. And I just want to make sure there's enough return there sometime. So I'm not looking to sell my business to Dent Wizard or this, that. I want to make sure that somehow I can get a return on it at some point where I can keep paying the bills when I don't want to go to work every day. And I also, one of the reasons that I did take on the Restore Effects license is being that I had a stroke in 2008 and stuff. If something ever happens to me, my wife and kids can hire somebody to run that business because it's a scalable business and they're still getting income from it. Where when you have Dan the dent guy and he's the only one pushing the dents, he's dealing with the customers and he goes away, there's nothing.
Yep.
You know. So there's something there even if I'm not around.
Yeah, I think that.
And I'm pretty around.
We'll
if you've met me. But
I think that's well said. You know, I think that a lot of the times, you know, we're the head of the business, but what would happen if we're not there one day? You know,
right.
Can our family still survive with what
Sure.
we've built? You know, and I think that's you said that very well, and thanks for sharing that. And for anyone that maybe has been pushing dents, that just got inspired today by listening to your story about how you've grown and how you've, you know, have all these things going on. What's your word of wisdom, word of advice to anyone out there that wants to be like Dan?
Don't do it. I just say keep grinding away, and like we've said, when you start feeling comfortable, it's time to make a move, because that's always been my saying. You know, I was comfortable just driving around fixing dents in people's driveways, and well, you know, oh, this is working, great, woohoo, I made it. No, throw another log on the fire. You know, just keep. I've always been one, I need to prove something. So I just, one after another, what's the next problem for the day? You know?
Mm-hmm.
And some days there's so many problems that you feel like your head's going to explode. You know, I have to explain to the customer why the paint split on his right-hand drive Toyota, oh, I forget whatever it was, with a sharp deep dent, you know, and you got to go out, you got to show face, you know, but that it is what it is, you know, and you just be honest. Be honest to people. Don't try to pull the wool over their eyes. You know, everybody that's always come in my shop, they're always like, I told them, I'm not PC. I'm not politically correct. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. And you'll always know where you're standing with me. You know, if I say something, that's where you're going to be. You know, that's why, like, when somebody doesn't want 100% repair, I'm like, you need to come in so that I can explain this to you and what you're going to end up with. Because I want to make sure that we're all on the same page and there's no surprises. You know?
Transparency wins.
Yep.
Yes, it does. It may not. You know, I think I've done some things wrong. I don't feel I've done some things wrong, but I think I probably could have done things differently, like some other people, and I could have made a lot more money a lot quicker. But I wouldn't feel good about myself. Does that make me a bad businessman? I don't know. I don't care. I know what I've built and like what my business name and my name and everything is, and I feel it's helped me. So,
and at the end of the day, what are we all in business for?
Up.
Oh, it's all good, man. I yawn all the time, man. Look at Manny, always like, man, you look tired. I'm like, bro,
it's like
shop
6
in the morning.
out there.
No,
right?
wait, yeah. But let me tell you that Ryan's been good today.
This was the first one.
This is the
He
first
must have had
one.
He had a Red Bull.
Yeah, something.
You know, at the end of the day, you look at business, right? At the end of the day, what are we trying to do? We're trying to build something, and at the end of the day, sell it, right? The only way you can sell something, right?
Yeah.
You look at Manny's PDR, what are they going to buy? You're the only part of the business.
Manny's
so at the end of the day, you have to build a team.
Yep.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
and your clientele base, and that's what they want to buy. You know, they could look at RPS and be like, it's just Ryan. What are we buying? Well, Ryan says, forget you, I'm retiring. what do they get? Nothing. So you need to grow your business to where it's feasible to sell.
Right.
Or at least get some sort of return on
100%.
You know what I mean?
100%. And it's hard to sell customers. You know what? You look at a body shop, they're buying the body shop. But in our business, we're the business, right? You know, you look at any dent guy that's on the road or any dent guy that has anything, we're the business. They want to deal with Ryan. They want to deal with Manny. They want to deal with Dan. When you're gone, those customers are going somewhere else. They don't care. Right. They have to. Yep. So it's you. Every time I say this every show, relationships win. If you don't have good relationships.
I can't say how blessed I am. Like just today, I had another customer, and my new shop is only, I think, like 3 miles away from the old one. Oh man, I went over to your old shop. I didn't even think to look online to see, what was going on. And they're like, but I looked you up and you were there. I'm like, yep, we're all over the internet. I had a sign up over there for like 4 months that we moved. And, they're not going to let you keep a sign there all the time. So that's really cool. But now I'm also getting more customers because like we're right next to a BJ's. And they're like, oh man, I was driving by on Sunday when I was going to BJ's and I saw your signs. He goes, I never knew you existed. It's like 3 miles down the road. I was there for 7 years. But in that same retrospect, when I was over there, I didn't want to have 7 people writing estimates for tire kickers.
Yeah.
I didn't think location. I wanted people qualified before they found me so that I could take time to fix dents and run the business instead of out on the curb writing estimates for people that would never close, I could never close, Now I'm at a different level of the business where I have all the back end stuff with the website and the AdWords and all that stuff going. Now I need the in your face stuff that people are just driving by and they say, oh shit, look at that over there. Let's go see if they can fix this for me.
Yep.
So, and more people are coming in, which it's making me feel good, as stressed as I am. But yeah, I would definitely recommend like looking into growing a little bit, Manny, because I mean, you don't look stressed enough at all.
Not at all. He has no clue. He'll call me. We'll talk on the phone, and Manny will look at me. He's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "You don't have a clue. You don't have a clue."
Like his hair, he's got too much hair up there. I mean, you need to lose some of that.
Yeah,
your hair's not messed up.
I barely got a few white ones here. I haven't.
Oh man, you don't even know.
Yeah.
No,
but you know what? Listening to your story has been very inspiring, and I hope that anyone watching or anyone that gets a chance to watch and listen into this, that I hope that they get inspired as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for sharing. You've definitely inspired me. Thanks for allowing me to ask questions. And it's been
he had some hard ones. I had to
think
some
a little really good questions tonight.
Yeah. It's like he was like digging for answers for himself or something. Like
he wrote them down before the show, so
but it was great.
Spell checked them too.
Yeah.
If anyone wants to reach you out, like in social media or anything, what's the best way to reach out to you?
Whatever. Facebook or, give me a call on Messenger, or I'm on WhatsApp, and anything like that. They can always feel free to reach out or whatever.
Go to a social, check out his new space, man. The new space is nice.
It is. It's still in the works. Like we just got the windows done, a month ago, and I've been in there a year this coming month. So, but $5,000 worth of window wrap. It's like, but a billboard, right? A billboard is going to run you $1,500 to $2,000 a month. So that $5,000 just got me billboards and, that was part of my rent, how I kind of justified all that. So,
Yeah.
like when you go buy something, you're like, oh, well, that's only 3 dents.
I
I
know.
can buy that. That's only 3 dents.
Terrible. It's terrible.
It's horrible. It's like, bro, there's not enough dents to pay for half the shit I buy, but that's how I justify it.
Oh shit.
It's funny. I'll be with Gene and Melissa will be there. I'm like, oh, that's only like 2 dents, Gene. She's like, you assholes and your dents. She was losing her mind,
Are you going to MT either in Vegas or in Orlando?
I was thinking about screwing out to Vegas again to get out there, but I definitely think I'll be at Orlando for sure this year.
Nice.
It'd be good. I can't stay away for too long.
Yeah.
What I want to do is I want to go eat with Charlotte out in Vegas again, because you have not lived until you've done dinner with Dave Charlotte in Vegas.
I heard it's an eventful evening.
Yeah, very, very. Yep. And he probably won't have to wear his mask and almost get thrown out of the casino again. So, no, good times. Good times. It's always great to see everybody and stuff like that. But another thing that I've done is I'm following like Facebook and stuff like that, but I'm not. When I first started, I was like posting, oh man, look at this dent I fixed, in like all the dent groups and stuff like that. I don't do that anymore. Like,
Me neither.
Nope.
Well, because Bryce Kelly just rips us apart.
Yeah, man, Bryce is the most humble, awesome person in the world.
Absolutely.
I remember one of the PDR colleges that we did. We went to dinner, and he came out. He's like, "Man, there's too many people in there." And he hung out with us, and we're sitting there smoking cigars, and we were just chilling. I'm like, he won me over at that point. I'm like, man, this guy's awesome. I had him up here, and it's like, I hung out with Bryce Kelly. We chilled, we talked. Coolest guy around. No attitude. No, he's just awesome.
Yeah.
So,
you could just be passing by and just a quick hello, but he gives you that attention, so you were just like, whoa.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, you know what he does, right?
No.
Well, he records the cars, and then he puts the dents in them. That's why they look so good. You guys didn't know that?
I've heard about that stuff.
No, Bryce is awesome.
Yeah.
He's always like, I've always looked at his shit. I'm like, oh yeah, I see what he did there. I'm gonna go try that. Like, I wouldn't want to try it in the cold 60-degree weather that he has to work in down in Florida.
Oh, shit. Well, Dan, I really appreciate you coming on, man. It was
thank
good.
you.
Yeah, it was a good time. I've been I watch you guys every now and then and everything. I was very excited to get on. So it was a good time. Hopefully, anybody has any questions or anything, even you, Manny, reach out, and I'll give you my number. We can jump on a phone call or whatever.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you so much,
buddy. Have a great night. And
all right, gentlemen.
Thanks, buddy.
Yep. You have a good one. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Bye-bye.
Absolutely. See you then.
It's a good one.
I'm inspired tonight.
It was a good one.
Yeah.
I told you it was going to be a good one.
It's just it's so awesome to just to hear that, because you think about it to yourself, right? Like, you have these dreams and you want to do it, and you've heard someone doing it, and but it's just like to just hear it directly, that it's doable. Get out of your comfort zone.
It's that uncomfortable feeling you have in your gut.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. It's like I'm bringing another guy on, and me and Ash are talking, and we're like, I don't know, but it's so hard to find good people, and seems like a good kid, and I can kind of groom him, and we're going into wintertime, but you're like, what's the worst that's going to happen? If it doesn't work out, you let him go, or he may leave on his own, or it may be great, but it's that uncomfortable when I start questioning, and Josh, it's funny because Josh is starting to figure how I operate, and he's like, we were talking today. He's actually heading home to go get the rest of his stuff from his stuff in Colorado and drive back. And he's like, every time you're uncomfortable, it works out. And I'm like, I'm glad you're so fucking positive because goddamn, but it is what it is. You just got to pull the Band-Aid off and figure it out,
Yep. And that saying they would say every week, right? Just keep pushing.
Keep it real, Manny.
Thank you, Ryan.
Fantastic rest of your week.
Good night to everyone out there. Thank you for joining us.
Hour and 30 minutes. It was good, though.
Time.
We couldn't stop.
Awesome time. Yeah, absolutely.
You guys have a fantastic rest of your week. Keep it real, and we will see you on the next one.
Thanks, guys. Thank you, everyone. See you. See you, Ryan.
Bye-bye, Manny. See ya.
Bye, Doug.